All right, guys, we're live. What's going on? Welcome to fourth quarter. Craig, you look exciting.
Was you waiting on me?
Yeah, nah.
Oh, for that to hit some.
All right, so hey man, Tom Brady retired. I'm gonna start off with Corey with this one. First of all, do you think he's serious and he's retiring for good at this point? And just what are your thoughts about him, his legacy? You can say whatever.
I I would assume this is the end. Brady, someone that is very conscious of his public image, and I don't think he wants to go down the Brett Favre route of retiring multiple times, pissing off a lot of people, and just kind of burning some goodwill reputation that he has. I do believe him when he says like the next time was it, that was going to be it. So I do think he's done. And honestly, after watching him last year, it should be like his stats actually didn't look awful. They're decent, but like just the eye test, watching him games, especially towards the end of the season, he looked awful. I know he had a big game, that last game of the regular season, but just a lot of bad games, and with a roster that should not have been 2 games under 500 in the season. So, it makes sense. It's Father Time is undefeated. As for legacy, I mean, he unquestionably goes down as the most decorated player in NFL history. I don't think that that'll ever be challenged, really. Not anytime soon. I know that the best quarterback that might have a shot is Patrick Mahomes, but you look at how loaded the West is and just the AFC in general. I don't know that a team is going to end up with the insane fortune that Brady had in New England, where you had 20 years of the other 3 teams in your division just being consistently bad. And so I think Brady's status as the most decorated player ever is pretty safe, I think, at least for a really long time. I know that the phrase GOAT gets thrown around really loosely these days. I'm not willing to go there for Brady. Not to say he's not a great player, but I would contend that Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback of the modern era for the NFL. And Johnny Unitas is probably the best to have ever done it. Just like what Unitas did and the era in which he did it is, I think, unparalleled in league history.
Yeah.
But it's it's a run that's we won't see something of the likes in some time. It's kind of surprising with how often things seem to go in his favor, and had the insane amount of luck that went in his favor that he didn't get that storybook ending that like Elway did and Manning did, being able to go out on top.
He could have. He could have.
After that Bucs Super Bowl, that was the perfect time. Everything was set up, and he chose to come back for a couple more years. So it seems like that would have happened for him just because of everything else that went in his favor in his career. So it's a little surprising to see it go down in a very one-sided playoff game against the Cowboys. But then again, I mean, that's what usually happens in the NFL. The storybook ending that Elway and like Manning got riding off into the sunset with the Lombardi. It doesn't happen. That's just not how things work out in the NFL for people. So I think it also serves as a bit of a reminder of what the NFL is, usually like for people. But kudos to him. Enjoy your retirement. Now he's walking into hundreds of millions of dollars from Fox to go into the broadcasting booth. So not a bad retirement plan.
All right, Craig, Tom Brady, man, do you think he's going to stay retired? Your thoughts about his legacy?
Yeah, I think this is it for him. I think he retired the same day last year. So it's been a year since he announced his retirement the first time. Then he came back a few months later. But I don't really think there's no need for him to come back, especially after what happened last year. I don't know if the team's going to get any better. Um, I mean, the running game is still going to be there and be struggling. The offensive line might get better. The receivers are still there. They're still talented and everything like that. The defense is still good, and I mean, if he did come back again, which I don't think he is, but I mean, the at least the schedule will be easier for him and the whole team in general. So, but yeah, I think this is it. I think he has nothing else to prove. Um, I thought 2 years ago he was when they won it. I thought he was going to leave then. I mean, I at least thought that would have been a storybook ending right there to just go off on top and I mean, even though it was only 1 year, but I just thought that was, I mean, there's no better way. But he wanted to come back and try to win it back, which I mean, I can understand too as a competitor. That's what he wants to do. And but unfortunately, they for him they fell short. And then this season was it was rough. It was tough, and I just don't think he wants to go. I mean, obviously, to me, like I kind of thought maybe you don't want to go out like that. You want to go out better than that with the talent around you and how they lost, got destroyed by Dallas. But at the same time, like I don't think he has nothing else to prove. So there's really no need to try to come back and make something of which I don't think is going to be anything. But for that team. But as far as his legacy goes, I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, or one of the greatest NFL players of all time, if not the greatest. It's what he's done, not only just for what he's done for the game of football, how he's helped elevate the game of football, be one of the guys that you see on like commercials and getting all these deals and things like that. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, between him and Peyton Manning, like those are the two guys, especially when in like the 2000s to now, they're like the two main big time quarterbacks that I would love to see play at the quarterback position. And now they've kind of set the bar for guys like Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and things like that. So um, definitely was a pioneer, I guess you could say. Being that he played so long and played at a high level so long. You know, I saw the stat that since Tom Brady turned 30, he's thrown 504 touchdowns, which is more than Aaron Rodgers has thrown in his whole career, which is 475. I I mean, since he's turned 30, he's done that many. That's just to me, that's just crazy to me. It's a
Crazy.
bunch of these stats I hear from Tom Brady that I've seen recently. So you know, he's definitely gonna to me, he's gonna go down as one of the greatest of all time. I think he's on the Mount Rushmore of NFL players. Um, and I just think that he's 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 earned this place in NFL history. There's a lot of other great players out there that have come before him. There's great players that are in the league now, and there's going to be great players that are going to be coming in the league 20, 30 years from now. I mean, and I still think they're still going to be talking about guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and all these other uh, players that have been in the league. So um, I want to see what happens because with him going forward, I know he's going to be the main guy calling games. But I think, to me, I think Greg Olson has done a great job calling games for Fox, being in with the number one team. I think he has one more game to go. It's the Super Bowl, the biggest
Super
game of the
Bowl.
year. So,
He's
but
bomb though.
it's I guess it's kind of unfortunate that he's going to be thrown out to the B team, or maybe he can eventually go somewhere else where he can be the guy again, or like on that A team. But I want to see what Tom Brady does in the booth. He doesn't strike me as a guy that's like, I don't know, like charismatic or nothing like that. So I kind of want to see what he does going forward. But I mean, he has a long contract, so he's getting paid. So why not? But so we'll see what happens, man. But I'm happy for him. I'm glad I got to watch his career, and it's gonna be when he after he's gone, then Aaron Rodgers is gone. It's gonna be like an end of an era. So we already lost Peyton Manning, and
Yep.
Brett Favre and guys like that. So we'll see what happens now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's done. I think he's done, guys. He said he's gonna play to 45. I think last year I saw a different Tom Brady that I normally don't see. Um, he didn't want to take hits, and usually Tom doesn't care. He stays in the pocket, he takes hits, but he was kind of like not trying to take hits and getting the ball out. And I get it, you know. This time, this off season, he took time to go to a wedding. He missed 11 days. We just saw these things that we never see from Tom Brady, you know. And I think he was like, he retired. I think he was like, you know what? I said 45. I feel good. I'm coming back. And then he came back and was like, man, this kind of hurts. Like my body is not, his body's probably used to it, but he's like, man, these hits hurt. He probably looked back and was like, I won the Super Bowl without Belichick. Like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that he got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? I think that he was ready. What's up? What's up, Mo? We just going over Tom Brady, and then I'm gonna pass it to you.
My bad. I'm going.
You good? You good?
Yeah.
Huh? You said what happened?
Thanks for joining us, man.
So yeah, I think Tom Brady, man. I think this year, I think it was time. I think everybody saw it. I think he knew it. You know, nothing of that caliber is easy when you're great at something. God rest his soul. Wasn't easy for Kobe. Wasn't easy for Jordan. It wasn't easy for Tom. Wasn't easy for Peyton. You know, like the great players, it's like, you know, but they know. Peyton was like, I won this Super Bowl. My defense helped me win it. I am out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot come back next year. Because, Corey, you're right. Time is undefeated. Doesn't matter who you are. It's undefeated. I love this legacy. I love watching them. The dominance, 7 Super Bowls, I don't think we're ever going to get anybody else. I was listening to First Take. I saw a clip. I forgot this guy's name, but he said Tom Brady worked so hard on his body. He's like the most consistent quarterback. He said the best regular season quarterback he's seen was Peyton Manning. He said the best playoff quarterback he's seen was Joe Montana. But he was like, the best overall quarterback, like the consistency of Tom Brady is unmatched. He was like, his work ethic is unmatched. Like, if you look at where he was picked and how he looked, and people were like, he doesn't have an NFL prototypical body, to where he is now is unbelievable. It's inspiring. Yeah. You know, so I think he did a lot. And you know, great players are inspirational, man. You know, with greatness, it always comes some scandals, but you know, it happens. It's life. But I just, you know, that 10 Super Bowls is crazy. 7 Super Bowls is crazy, and he played in 2 different eras. He played in an era that was dominated by defense, where you can get away with like not killing, where you can get away with real hits. Like hits that we would look at nowadays and be like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Well, in 2000, we all watching football like, yeah, you can't come across the middle. Set the tone, right? Hits like that set the tone. So, and then he came into a era where the quarterbacks play. But Craig, I know you said that the era is ending with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, but I am looking forward to seeing Jalen Hurts play a long time, Patrick Mahomes play a long time, Lamar Jackson play a long time, Josh Allen play a long time, and Joe Burrow play a long time with Trevor Lawrence, with Caleb Williams coming, with Justin Fields. The NFL is in a good place right now. It is a lot of good young quarterbacks coming out of college. Bryce Young, Kyler Murray. I'm excited. I literally cannot wait because I'm excited. I'm not saying we're gonna get a Tom Brady, but this guy, we'll talk about him later. But that guy right there, this guy, he is a problem. He is. I don't know. I don't think any quarterback that you think has potential is going to drop past 10 because of that guy behind me. Because what he's doing this 5 years is unfathomable, and we've never seen it. And I can't wait to see his next 15 years that he plays. Because if it's like the first 5, all right, Mo. Tom Brady, you think he's ready to retire? I'm sorry. Do you think he's going to stay retired and just go over his legacy?
I think he is. It's been time. I think he wanted. I think how things ended with the Rams, them coming back. He wanted one more, opportunity. He thought maybe they dropped something. Maybe they could have did something. But I think Arians leaving and all this stuff going on, the uncertainty now where you got Bowles, you don't know his job. You got Luffage got fired. I just think he said, man, it's too much. And why do this? His legacy is, for me, have we or will we ever see someone who was drafted that low, or was it that praise coming out of college or coming into the league, of any league, do this much? Like, we've seen a lot of dudes who were praised live up to the hype, or was somebody praised live up to the hype. But have you ever seen somebody who nobody thought nothing of, who was what, sixth round draft pick, when nobody thinking nothing of him, and could provide the greatness he's given us? Like, we haven't seen this before, and I don't think we'll see this again, of a low round draft pick do this much greatness. Now, we got other picks, NBA second round draft picks, be great and all the other stuff, but like this greatness, like seven championships. Like 7, and I know people go back to, we can go back to the Seattle one and say, oh, he should have lost that one. But 2 of them he should have won. 2 of them he gave the Giants a lead in the fourth quarter. You gotta win the game. You gotta get stops. You look at
you're talking about the first one.
Yeah. The first, both of them.
One season.
Both of them to the Giants, they was up in the fourth. Both of them to the Giants, he was up in the fourth quarter. Yeah. You look at the one he didn't make the Super Bowl. They were up 2 scores, or was it 3 scores against the Colts when they lost to Peyton and them? I believe it was 3 scores.
It was 28-3.
21-3.
21-3. That was the greatest. That was the greatest AFC Championship game I've seen. One of the greatest.
Think about it. They went to that Super Bowl. They was gonna beat the Bears. That was the one where they Colts beat the Bears, right? Where they made it to there and beat. Come on, so that would have been 8. So we look at the opportunities he lost. It's just an excellent career.
Mo, but he beat the Falcons, had him down 28-3. He's okay.
I get it. I get it. But
he fumbled away his first playoff run, and the Patriots should have never made his first Super Bowl. So he had plenty of stuff go way in his favor.
He has a whole bunch of stuff going.
He should have never been in the first.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
7 Super Bowls. You wanted to have 10?
No, I'm just talking about his legacy. We talking about his legacy here. I'm trying to mention both ways. He definitely could have lost some and won some, but I don't think we're going to see this again. Honestly, I don't think we're going to see another quarterback win 7. Just in our lifetime, I just don't see it. Like, with the parity of the NFL, with everything going on, I don't think we're going to see another quarterback win 7. That's my opinion. I mean, I know somebody disagree, but I just
Maybe.
don't with the personalities, with everything going on around this league, and everybody want their money and leave. I just don't know if I see another team another quarterback winning 7 Super Bowls. Like I don't see it. I'm not saying
It's hard to see. It's hard to see. I ain't gonna lie.
It'd be hard for me. I don't think it's impossible.
No.
I'll never come out and say it's impossible.
Hard,
But it's gonna be hard for me to see a quarterback win 7. Like the closest to it right now would be Mahomes, because if he win this one, it'd be his second. So he's already
That's crazy.
2 wins.
2 or 5 years is crazy.
Right. Now he might be the closest to it if he win this one here, because that's 2 already. But to look at a team, to look at any of these quarterbacks right now and say you about to win 7 Super Bowls,
nah.
like it's just hard. It's hard with everything going on around the league.
All right. And actually, I'm gonna start off with Muller. Actually, I think you brought up Mo, so I'm gonna start this off with you. I think. Hold on, did you or Craig bring this up about the Pro Bowl?
I think
Well,
Craig did.
Huntley,
That was me.
Yeah,
It was you. Yeah. All right. So let me start with you, Craig. All right. What are your thoughts about Tyler Huntley? And then right after that, Derek Carr. They both got named to the Pro Bowl. What are your thoughts about that, Craig?
I mean, the Pro Bowl's already in the back. Like, I don't want to watch the Pro Bowl. I wouldn't want to watch the Pro Bowl regardless of who was in it. Like, it could be Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen in the Pro Bowl. I still wouldn't watch it. Now you're going to make me, or not make me, but you're going to make people watch the Pro Bowl. Not make them, but they're going to watch it because it's football, I guess. But with Huntley, Huntley has 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and 2-2 as a starter. And what you mean to tell me you could not have found a Kenny Pickett or a Mac Jones? I know he made it last year as a rookie, but you couldn't have found anybody better. Nobody else wanted to take his spot or take, I guess, Burrow's spot or Allen's spot to make the man. Come on, man. It's such a bad product, and then you come out and you add worse, whatever you want, trash to it. Like, come on, man. I didn't want to watch it. Like I said, I didn't want to watch it before. I really don't want to watch it now. I mean, even if I had an inkling just to click on it and be like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. And then, no, I'm not even going to do that. It's not even going to waste my time. It's a waste of time. I just don't understand it. I'm just going to guess that people just said, no, we don't want to go. And he just went down the list of like, I'm going to guess that they skipped like 6 or 7 quarterbacks. That's what my thinking is. And everybody else said, nah, I'm banged up a little bit. I don't want to play or whatever it is. I remember back in the day when like quarterbacks like 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, maybe 10, quarterbacks would actually play in the Pro Bowl. It was like an honor to go to the Pro Bowl. It was an honor to play in the Pro Bowl. They don't do that no more, man. It's just like a different different league. And I didn't watch back then. I rarely watched it. And maybe the last time I actually watched one was when I was in high school or something. Like it just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know if they need to. I know we did this last year where we talked about rules and things like that. They need to change and update and all that stuff. But like, I'm cool with Trevor Lawrence. I think he had a really good year, and I think he deserved to go, especially as a replacement or whatever. Because I guess the top 3.
Mac Jones in there.
I mean, I would have added a lot of the people.
Because I'm looking and I'm like,
in there.
Damn.
It's a bunch of other people. I would have added Kenny Pickett before I added Huntley.
I would have added probably
Kenny Pickett
and Mac Jones probably before Huntley.
He played way more games, and I mean, he led a team that had no possibility to go to. Now I thought of going to the playoffs.
How many games did Huntley play?
Like
5, 6,
5 or 6, 5. I think he went 2.
5.
He went, something like that. Like it wasn't enough.
Tannehill played more than him.
Yeah, but I think Tannehill's hurt.
It's a lot of quarterbacks.
I just want to say that a lot of people said, nah, I'm not.
I think a lot of people said no, Craig. I think a whole bunch of people said no. Now I'm looking at the the NFL. I think Josh Allen said no. Tua said no.
Now Josh Allen hurt him. Now Josh Allen had a soldier. Elbow.
He got surgery.
Elbow. Yeah, elbow.
Lamar Jackson's not going to do it because his knee.
Lamar and Tua.
Joe Burrow said no.
Right.
Because I think he said he's trying to get healthy.
Yeah, Tua is still in concussion protocol. He's still in.
There's no need to bring him back for that.
Unless you
Wilson.
want Russell, unless you're Russell Wilson.
Wilson probably said no too. He probably said no. It's just. I mean, it's just not a good look.
What about Herbert?
It's just not a good. I think he's hurt too. I think he had.
He's hurt too.
I think he has some type of surgery.
Herbert's hurt too. Yeah, Herbert has something.
It's just not a good look, man, for a exhibition game that's already in bad.
Yeah.
And like it's just in a bad light, and you're gonna make it even worse. I don't even mind Derek Carr because I mean he played most of the season. He had a decent year. Nobody else played, but I just don't like the Huntley one. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they could do, man. They need to figure something out because I think I might watch some of the skill stuff ahead of it, just because I think it's something that I haven't seen in a while, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to. But the actual game is just gonna be. I'm not looking forward to that. So I'll find something else to do for my Sunday.
Mo, what you think about that? What do you think about the Pro Bowl picking Huntley?
I honestly think I don't know how that happened, but I think it's also a tribute to it's flag football now. So like just put athlete out there and let's have fun. Because there's no way. Like I just don't think so. And then my question is the wild part is, so here it is, a dude who only threw 2 touchdown passes. You go to the Pro Bowl, even as an alternate, does he get don't they get a check? Don't they get something regardless? Even if they make the Pro Bowl regardless of alternate or something like that?
I think
so I'm like, hey.
Yeah. You get a bonus, wild. I think, or a game check, something.
Wild. So now you get this money for 2 touchdowns. You go to the Pro Bowl and get extra money. And like Craig was saying, you could have said Derek Carr. You could have said
no, they did say Derek Carr. He's just mad with the Huntley.
Oh, okay.
No.
Derek Carr.
I'm not mad because I don't care that much. I just thought it was stupid.
Yeah,
it just looks dumb.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense to me.
I'm not gonna hate on another guy. I'm gonna say congratulations to Huntley, but I'm just saying for a dude, for that to happen, it kind of devalues stats and Pro Bowl. Like you throw 2 touchdown passes, you get to go to Pro Bowl. I understand there was a lot of injuries. He was an alternate, but come on, like it's other dudes you could have sent. So I just don't understand how that really went down like that. That's wild to me. But congratulations to him. Hope he does well at the Pro Bowl. It's a flag football game, so I don't know if they're gonna allow the quarterbacks to run. I don't know the rules that the NFL is specifically putting in place for but
I don't know.
You gonna watch it, Mo?
No, I can't. No, I watch the skills right. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. I'm sorry, I can't watch that. I can't do it. I watch the skills if they're doing like bench lifting, running, 40s, whatever skills they do. I watch that, but I can't watch no flag football game at NFL level. Not the NFL level.
Yeah. So I was surprised when I first seen it, and I kind of agree with you, Craig. But I just think that looking at the NFL, I could see maybe Kenny Pickett, but it's slim pickings for the AFC quarterbacks, man. Nobody from Houston, nobody from the Colts. Tennessee, Tannehill's hurt.
No, Matt Ryan.
Oh man, Matt Ryan. Does he have better stats than Huntley? He might.
Damn near everybody has better stats than Huntley.
That's right.
Trubisky, I think Mr. Trubisky has better stats than Huntley. Man, come on, man. I just thought it was dumb.
I get it. It is weird, and then it kind of I think, but everybody's getting down to I think what Mo was trying to say. It kind of like it kind of brings down the Pro Bowl's validation a little bit. I think. It was considered a prestigious award. I still think it is. I just, it's done weird. And it says the voting is done by players. So maybe,
I get out of it. But who picks the offense? I don't know if players pick the
offense. I don't know.
It is the worst exhibition, like All-Star game in sports. To me, it's below everything. All the other 3, it's below them, like far below them.
Yeah, it is. Because I like the NBA All-Star game.
Like
contest, 3-point contest.
It's not even about the extra stuff. It's just about the game in general.
The game
in general. Yeah. I would rather watch baseball and hockey than watch.
Yeah,
NFL.
baseball joint be serious too, because that's whoever wins gets home field, right?
They stopped.
Oh,
that
they
ball.
took it away. Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
out of
right.
touch with baseball. Okay, but all right, Corey, what do you think about
Um,
Herman being named to the Pro Bowl? Who does?
I think it's obviously a sign of how dumb the Pro Bowl process currently is. To your guys' point, I don't know that it hurts the reputation of the Pro Bowl at all because I don't think there's anything left to hurt. The players haven't cared about it in years. Yes, it's by far the worst Pro Bowl game. I think the NFL was smart in some of the changes they started to make, set up the games, just do away with an actual game because the NFL is also the hardest to have an exhibition game for because these guys don't want to go full speed in a game that doesn't matter. Because
they ain't trying to get hurt.
Yeah, football is a game where it's significantly easier to get injured in, and so it's not worth it. And I think all-star games in general have long outlived their usefulness. These things started back in like were really important back in like 40s, 50s, 60s, stuff like that, when you saw maybe one team once a year. Once television started, you saw one team all season. But now you pull up Red Zone, you're watching every game every week. You see these guys every single week. And seeing them in an exhibition game isn't that big a deal anymore. Nobody cares. So I think the NFL needs to just do away with keep the setup that they have, keep the games, keep that kind of aspect for it. Vote for the Pro Bowl rosters, like as you are now, so you have something that the fans participate in, because the writers and everything still do the All-Pro team. But invite people to participate just based on who would make the competitions good. Vote on the Pro Bowl starters, and then that's it. You don't have to be on the Pro Bowl roster to participate in the games. Just vote for the Pro Bowl roster, and that be it. And then, bring in whoever for these competitions. And because there's just, essentially make it another All-Pro type team. Just this, I said, this one fans will participate and whoever else votes for the Pro Bowl. So it makes it a little different, separates it a little bit from the All-Pro rosters. But there's really no reason to keep changing out quarterbacks and have like the 9th best quarterback out of 16 teams playing in the Pro Bowl.
Like it's probably like the 19th out of 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
It's just a bad look, man. To me, it's horrible. I don't know.
So, on to let's this next topic is going to brighten up the mood, Craig. Because I saw a while ago that the NBA, renamed the NBA awards. I'd be like, how cool it would be if we renamed the NFL awards after greats. So I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna break it down. The coach of the year, I'm naming that the Don Shula Award. Don Shula was awesome. He has the most career wins in NFL history with 328. Belichick might catch him, but it's a lot. It's a lot. He has a lot of wins. He also has. His team was the only one to ever, in the modern era, even though it was a 14-game season, they went 17-0 to win the Super Bowl. Now, the New England Patriots went 18-0, but they couldn't bring it home. It's one of the greatest upsets ever. So I just got to give the NFL, the coach of the year, Don Shula. Comeback player of the year, I'm going to give it with Alex Smith. When he came back from all those surgeries, just to play football, step on the field again, is phenomenal. And I got to give it that's a testament of how much he loves the game of football and how much he worked to come back. Offensive Rookie of the Year, got to give it to Randy Moss. He is one of the best rookie seasons ever. 69 catches, 17 touchdowns, and made sure everybody who passed on him, if he got picked 20, if he paid for it. Dallas definitely paid for it. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going really old school with this. I had do a little bit of research. I'm going Night Train. Night Train had 14 interceptions his rookie season, and it still stands today. And he's famous for that. He has this close hook that it's illegal to do now, but he used to clothesline you to tackle you. And defensive player of the year, I got Lawrence Taylor, man. He's won it 3 times. Now, Aaron Donald's won it 3 times, but Lawrence Taylor changed the game of football. And he won the NFL MVP award as a defensive player. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. Offensive player of the year, I was kind of torn between LaDainian and Jerry, but I went with Jerry Rice because he has 208 touchdowns, and he led the NFL in touchdown reception 6 times. That's tough. And the MVP award, Peyton Manning award, man. He's won it 5 times. That's like immaculate in the modern era. So those are mine. All right, Corey. What would you name your NFL awards after?
All right. A lot of mine actually line up with yours. Coach of the year, I went with Bill Belichick. Don Shula is a really good choice.
It's not a bad. Bill
Yeah,
Belichick's
but since
not
Lombardi
bad.
already has the Super Bowl trophy,
Yeah.
I think the success, long-term success Bill Belichick had in the era in which he's had it, in the era of free agency, where it is significantly harder to sustain success at that level, is incredibly impressive. The system and that he built and we're able to get 6 Super Bowls with is just an impressive feat for any coach. So I would name it after him, even with the cheating scandals that he has. Comeback player of the year, I'm with you with Alex Smith. Just the type of injury he came back from, it's a crazy story, inspiring story. And really hard not to go with him on that. Offensive rookie of the year, Randy Moss. It's one of the best rookie performances we've seen in a player. Because not only did he put up big stats, but he was an important part of a winning football team that year. And very impressive. Defensive rookie of the year, I went with LT. Lawrence Taylor. I went with him for defensive rookie of the year because he is the only rookie to win defensive player of the year. So his rookie season was unparalleled on the defensive side of the football. For defensive player of the year, I had it then a toss-up between Reggie White or Derek Thomas. I think I would go Reggie White because I think there's a good chance that he would be the career sack leader if sacks were counted as an individual stat his entire career.
Yeah.
Derek Thomas was a dominant player who, we lost too early, but I think both of those would be good for offensive player of the year. I struggled with this one. I ended up going with LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, he was almost. It was hard for me.
Yeah,
it was
just
hard.
because that few year stretch that he puts up in a row is just insane. How good a football player he was offensively. And then MVP, I don't see how you could pick anyone other than Peyton Manning. He has the most of them. I think you also, when you look at what happened when he wasn't on the field, when Peyton Manning was on the field, the Colts were a Super Bowl contender. He misses the season and they win 2 games. That's crazy. That's dominance. That's importance. And I don't know that we necessarily see somebody break his record for most MVPs.
Nope, I don't see.
So, for me, that's where I would go.
All right, Craig, you're up next, man. What's your renamed NFL awards? Yeah,
I'm down. Coach of the year, I wasn't trying to pick anybody active because but I couldn't not pick Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's fair.
The job he's done. The championships. There's a lot of great coaches out there. Obviously, like Corey said, Vince Lombardi already has the trophy named after him, so he was out. And then Chuck Noll, I thought about. He has 4 championships, and Don Shula is another one. But obviously,
Chuck Nola's another good one too. Yeah.
Ultimately, I went with Bill Belichick for this award. Comeback player of the year, I picked Alex Smith. I was picking between Alex Smith and I was looking at Doug Flutie just because he had the whole story and all the other things and flakes and all that. But after I thought about it more and looked up more stuff, I remembered Alex Smith and what he went through and how he had to come back and all that. And from that horrific injury, man, that was just crazy. So I could not put Alex Smith on there. Defensive rookie of the year, I agree, James. I got Night Train Lane. The 14 picks are
crazy.
I mean, as a rookie, that's just crazy to me. It's insane. I don't know if that's ever going to be broken. I don't think so. Not by a rookie. I mean, there's an extra game, might be an extra 2 games in a few years, but man, that's crazy. And I know this is a passing league, but
they're gonna stop passing to him, Craig.
That was insane, man.
They're gonna stop passing his way.
That was crazy.
I mean,
offensive rookie. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, Sauce Gardner had one of the best rookie seasons we've seen from a cornerback, arguably ever, and he didn't sniff that record.
Yeah, they're gonna stop throwing you the ball.
That's out of control. Offensive rookie of the year, I agree with y'all. I got Moss. 17 touchdowns as a rookie. 13. I think he had 1,300 yards or so. I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to be broken either. 17 with an extra game or 2 coming up. Who knows? But I mean, 17 touchdowns. Man, it's crazy. Defensive player of the year, I got Lawrence Taylor. Everything he did, I think he's 3-time. I think he's 2-time, maybe 3-time defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he's 3 times. He's tied with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's tied with Aaron Donald. Sorry.
Okay. I couldn't. To me, I mean, I don't know if they were ever do that. Obviously, you got Taylor, you got Reggie White, like Corey said. If they were for Aaron Donald to retire, you could have 3 guys that you can debate about and pick one of those 3. But right now, I'm going with Lawrence Taylor. Offensive player of the year, I got Jerry Rice. I think he's the greatest wide receiver of all time. Even back then, in an era where there wasn't a lot of passing, like as compared to now. I mean, he's still putting up
crazy stats.
MVP, obviously Peyton Manning, 5 MVPs. I could not put anybody else there. Then I took it a little step further because it's like the NBA. They have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. You get Larry Bird.
Oh man, what'd you do?
Calm down. NFC, I got Joe Montana. I just think.
So when somebody wins like the NFC Championship, it'll be like the Joe Montana.
Right now, right now, obviously they got it named after coaches. Callis, and then they got and Hunt. So, but
that'll be tight.
Just to name it after players, I just changed it up with Montana for the NFC, and the AFC was tough between Elway and what's the guy's name from Buffalo?
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. Yeah,
because he went to 4 straight. But I ultimately chose Elway just because he went to 5. I was going back and forth between the 2. And my Super Bowl MVP obviously is Tom. Now, especially he's retired. I went with Tom Brady. 5, I think, or
he won 5. It's gonna be hard.
So those were my. And I just left the Vince Lombardi award as Vince Lombardi, but
they're never gonna change that. That joint is etched. All right, Mo. All right, which NFL awards did you like to rename? And after who?
I'm on pace with all y'all. The only ones I would change. The defensive rookie year, and this only because my era and seeing what he's done since he's got it is Aaron Donald. As far as the defensive rookie of the year. And the only reason I did that because I would name the defensive player of the year after Lawrence Taylor. And that's the only reason I did it like that. But I feel like what Donald's done for the league, for the position since he's won it, is I would give it to him. Everything else, I'm on par with what you said. Defensively, head coach or coach of the year, I would get a Belichick. It's just he's done.
Yeah,
what he's done. And I get all the deflate gate and all the other stuff, but Spygate, all that stuff. But you look at it, 10 Super Bowls. You look at it, he's been in what 10 Super Bowls, and even as he lost Brady, he still has made the playoffs and stayed in playoff contention. But it was they still had a shot up to the last day this year, right? I think they went eliminated to what, a game before a game or last game.
It was the last game.
Like, come on.
Who
Like,
knows if he hired a good offensive coordinator?
right? And now he got Bill. Now he got Bill O'Brien. Let's see what he do. Now they got real coordinator. Let's see what it looks like. So so I definitely say him, and everything else, I'm on par with everything else we've said. Alex Smith, I love the job he did. He came to Washington. He won us some games. Always study him. I like him when he was in San Fran. Off Moss, I remember that. I'll never forget that day when he played Dallas, when he did it them on Thanksgiving. Oh my Lord. I'll never forget that. Just sitting there eating food. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. I'm like, Dallas ain't got an answer for this.
That's crazy.
Offensive rookie of the year. LT. The Damon Tomlinson. Also, it was in my consideration, but Moss, that was just ridiculous. Like Moss that year was just ridiculous. And then, just seeing what he went on to do, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, Lord, Vikings look crazy. That's the one team I thought was going to win a Super Bowl that year, but they lost. Shout out to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm on par with pretty much everything y'all said.
All right, cool. So now that we did that, I'm gonna start off with you, Mo, and we're gonna go over the 2022 NFL awards and who you think should win. So, who do you think should win?
Are we gonna go through all of our picks at once? Or are we gonna go like award by award with everyone?
I think we should go award by award.
Yeah, with everyone. Yeah, that's cool.
Award, you know what I'm saying? Then
All right.
Yeah.
So, right now, Mo, who you got for Coach of the Year?
I went back and forth for this. Are we taking the whole body work? Are we taking playoffs too?
No,
Just regular season is what gets
okay.
regular
I got
season.
you. Okay, I got you. It was the reason I was saying that, but Lord, this is a tough pick. Boy, I like a lot of people. I'm gonna say Brian Daboll.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Brian Daboll. Just for what they had, 9 wins. Just bringing back that energy there. I'm gonna say Brian Daboll for that one.
All right, cool. Craig, Coach of the Year.
Kyle Shanahan. I mean, dealing with. I know that the team is stacked and they got a great defense and they got Chris McCaffrey before the trade deadline. But I mean, just the fact that he had to go through all that with those quarterbacks, and then he had the last overall pick take the team and help him win the rest of the games that he started, all the games that he started up until the playoffs. But I mean, they've done a great job, and I just didn't. Once they got Brock Purdy, I kind of thought maybe there's a chance that they're not going to make it, but they ended up making it to the NFC Championship game. So hats off to I think Kyle Shanahan gets it.
All right, Corey, Coach of the Year.
I think Doug Peterson ends up getting it because they won the division. I think it should be Pete Carroll. I know he wasn't named a finalist.
Finals, yeah, that's
but
cool.
The fact that I think all of us kind of agreed that Seattle was likely the front runners in the Bryce Young sweepstakes for the draft this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a general consensus around the NFL that they figured that the Seahawks would be able to take Bryce Young and not with the Broncos pick. I think he should have been a finalist, and I think he should probably win the award because he far surpassed the expectations of anyone. I think Peterson gets it, but he also benefited from the fact that the AFC South turned into a complete and utter dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And so it was a low bar for him to clear, even though he did turn around the Jags impressively. But Dable, again, deserving. The work he did with the Giants was good, but I would vote that write-in candidate Pete Carroll should win.
Yeah, listen, I like that. I like that Pete Carroll. He should have been on the ballot, and his team made the playoffs as well. Sean McDermott. I mean, the Bills went that record last year. I would put Pete Carroll right there. That's just me. I mean, seriously, right? The Bills have 2 more wins, maybe. I don't know. Um, but I'm going with Kyle Shanahan just because of what he did with those quarterbacks. The quarterback he traded for starting the season, Trey Lance, broke an ankle. Then Jimmy Garoppolo comes in and Jimmy Garoppolo injures his foot. Now they're in playoff contention, and Brock Purdy comes in and wins 7 games. That's got to be good coaching. I know the team is built to win, but I mean, that's 3 different quarterbacks, man, and that's pretty impressive. All right, Mo, who you got for comeback player of the year? No, comeback player of the year.
It's tough. I'm gonna go. I'm trying to think that this is war tough. I'm gonna go Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the ACL, you had contract issues, and he kind of carried the team. I mean, I know, Daniel Jones played better and got better, but you knew it ended with Saquon. You knew he was the bell cow. It really was no other back there, nobody else to key on. So I'm gonna take Saquon.
Craig, who do you have for comeback player of the year?
I'm gonna go with Gino. I know the year before he played a couple games when Russell Wilson went out, but he only played like 4 games total or whatever it is. But this year, I mean, he had his best season ever. He had 30 touchdowns. He had over 4,000 yards. He was a starting quarterback. I thought he was going to be in competition with dude from Denver. They used to I can't remember his name. He was so bad. But you know,
got his name
really
already.
Yeah, I don't even want to. But I mean, it really wasn't a competition. He won the job outright, and then he took the team. I mean, I thought 3 wins, maybe 4 wins, and he took them to the playoffs. So I mean, hats off to the job that Pete Carroll done with this team. But you know, Geno Smith, man, I mean, he had his best season ever. So
yeah,
you know, I got to go with Geno.
Corey, comeback player of the year.
I got good Gino. Yeah, he had a phenomenal season, and you know, he was written off. People were. I thought it was. There were a lot of jokes about Geno Smith being the starting quarterback for them, and you know, all the credit to him for turning it around and having one heck of a season and potentially positioning himself as, you know, a franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
he's at a minimum, he has earned a starting job in the NFL for next season. And I don't know that there's anybody around that expected that. So
yeah, I got to go with Geno Smith. Not only what Craig said, his season stats, but he had a 69% completion percentage. Like he was doing like really well, and it's pretty awesome. And now look what position Seattle's in. He's probably going to sign a team-friendly deal, and then they have loaded draft picks where they can load up on the defense. And he's already familiar with the receivers, and they got a good running back and a young O-line, and the NFC isn't where it's supposed to be. Seattle might be all right for some years. They might be all right. You know? All right. Mo. Offensive rookie of the year.
Ooh. I'm gonna go. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go Brock Purdy.
What? Okay.
I mean, I know he only played 7 games. I get it. I get he only played certain games, but for the pressure he was put under, and what he did, I would go him. I'm not mad at the running back for Houston, and I'm not mad if people say Gary Wilson, but I'm gonna go Brock Purdy.
All right, Craig, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I thought about Olave and then Walker from Seattle, but
yeah, I forgot about it. Good one.
I gotta agree with Mo there, man. I'm going Brock Purdy. He played a limited amount of
What?
games. I gotta go with him, man. He's
Right.
undefeated as a starter. He played limited amount of games, but he was an impact on the field for that team. Being the last overall pick, and he had, I mean, a phenomenal season to the point where now it's unfortunate that he got hurt, but I mean, people are talking about him being a starter next year and Trey Lance being traded or whatever. I don't know, but I mean, that's just the impact that he had on his team with obviously a bunch of talent around him. But like to me, he showed that he was not the last overall pick.
Dang. All right, Corey.
Um,
Offensive rookie of the year.
I said Kenneth Walker. The full body of work. It wasn't just less than half a season of work. He was really impressive. I believe he missed the first 2 games or something, but once he got on the field, had a heck of a season. I think if Brock Purdy's on the finalist list, then Breece Hall, running back for the Jets, should have been too, because he only played 6 games. But I think he was arguably equally as impactful for his team, because Purdy had a pretty stacked skill position group that he was throwing to there in San Francisco, which I think helps. It's they've had other backup quarterbacks that haven't had quite the amount of success that he did, but I think just a 7-game sample, it's hard to give a rookie of the year award for the entire season based off that. So give me Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I did different. I did Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson's another person, especially after the amount of quarterbacks that he went through, to put up his stats: 83 receptions, 1,100 yards, 13.3 average. I think he's done pretty good. I mean, they're on par with Olave, but I think he was, Olave kind of had the same quarterback, Andy Dalton, and Garrett Wilson didn't have that. He was juggling multiple quarterbacks, and that's what I think should be the offensive rookie of the year. Okay, so we all know who the defensive rookie of the year. I don't think anybody's going to be unanimously against Sauce Gardner.
No.
I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with the other rookies on the list. I just think that he has an All-Pro. He's considered one of the best corners in the league, so gotta give it to him. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Mo, defensive player of the year.
My bad. Bosa.
Oh, okay.
I think Bosa, for what he did with San Francisco, dominating games. I love Chris Jones. I love Parsons. But I just think Bosa for me is defensive player of the year.
Okay. Craig, defensive player of the year.
On Nick Bosa as well. He led the league in sacks. He was a dominant presence out there. Like, he finally was healthy for the most part this year. So, I mean, he had a really, really great season. I think he only missed 1 game, but like, this is the Nick Bosa that I wanted, or one of the Bosas that I really wanted to see out there when they came out of Ohio State, I believe. So he finally lived up to the number 2 overall pick a few years ago, and to me, I think it's a no-brainer for defensive. To me, it's between him and I love what Hassan Reddick did this year. I wish he was still on the Panthers, but yeah, I got to go with Bosa.
All right, Corey, NFL defensive player of the year.
I'm going Chris Jones. I think his 15.5 sacks was really quiet. I didn't even realize that until the playoffs when they cited his sack total. I think part of the reason why Aaron Donald has won it so many times is why Chris Jones should win it as well, is because he's a 3 technique, and it is a lot harder to get those sacks when playing on the interior of the defensive line than on the outside. When you're on the edge like Bosa is, you can better scheme ways to get one-on-one matchups. Whereas when you're inside, there's a significantly greater chance that you're going to get double teamed. So Chris Jones carrying a defense that's, I think Jones has a little bit less talent around him as well, as opposed to Nick Bosa too. So I think Jones is asked to do a bit more with that Kansas City defense. And the season he had was crazy impressive.
Yeah, I'm going Chris Jones too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, listen, Aaron Donald's in his own stratosphere, but Chris Jones is putting up quite a resume. He's building quite a resume for an interior defensive tackle, and he's played phenomenal this year. And 15.5 sacks is definitely because you can't tell me that he wasn't getting doubled. There's no way you're not doubling Chris Jones. You're chipping him. He's getting more attention. Now, Nick Bosa might get chipped, but it's kind of easier when you're bending to the outside of a left tackle versus Chris Jones inside. You know, like it's the guard and the center. Most likely, the guard and the center is going to touch you every play. You know, and sometimes the tackle depends if it's a stunt, you know, zone. But I think I'm going to give it to Chris Jones. He had a phenomenal year this year. I think he definitely deserves it. All right, Mo. Offensive Player of the Year. This is going to be interesting.
We'll go Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
And because if you don't do that, you give it to two quarterbacks. And I just don't think if you're going to keep giving MVP to a quarterback, a non-quarterback should get Offensive Player of the Year. And I think the numbers Jordan Jefferson has put up when you really don't have a true number 2 receiver there. I mean, feeling's okay. Feeling's okay, but you don't have a number 2 there. So I would take Jordan Jefferson as my Offensive Player of the Year. Would he fail? What he was about 30 yards short of Moss's record or Calvin Johnson's record? I know he didn't break it. I think he felt like it might have been more than 30, but he fell some yards short. But
I think it was like 100 something.
Yeah,
it might be more than that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson finished 6th in single season receiving yards all time.
Yeah. All right. Craig, who's your Offensive Player of the Year?
Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's not even close. Only other player I can consider is there's a couple players I can consider, like Hill, and because I'm not considering a quarterback for this, and maybe 19. Jacobs. But I mean, the numbers that Justin Jefferson put up and what he was able to do and some of the catches he's able to make, and like he's other than a few games like the game against Green Bay, he's just the second game against Green Bay. Like he's just hard to cover. I mean, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. I think to me he's top 2. So I got to go with Justin Jefferson here.
All right, Corey.
Yeah, I'm going
Justin
Jefferson. Yeah, I think to most points, I do agree that since the MVP has become a quarterback award, that Offensive Player of the Year should go to skill position. Even with that, I think just what Jefferson was able to do, Thielen has definitely lost a step. Osborne's a solid number 3 receiver, but that's it. You knew the ball was going to Justin Jefferson, and he still had a monster season. So yeah, I think hands down he wins this award.
Yeah, another sweep. I'm going with Justin Jefferson. You're right, because the quarterback is the MVP award, and Offensive Player of the Year, if running backs and receivers, that'll be awesome if it's available to them, because the MVP is the quarterback's award. So Offensive Player of the Year is kind of like another, not MVP, but it's a big award. So I do think it should not go to the quarterbacks. All right, the last one. This is probably a sweep too. MVP, Mo.
I'm gonna go Mahomes. I get he got hurt, and I think it would be a closer race if, with the numbers, looking back at the numbers that Hurts put up, if he wasn't hurt those last couple of games, I think it would be a closer race. But just Mahomes, the numbers you put up, you really couldn't call none of his receivers right now a true number one. Like if any of his receivers went somewhere else, they'd probably be a number three. Like just be honest. Like all his receivers. You take all his receivers, if they went to any other team right now in the NFL, for the most part, about 85 to 90% of NFL teams, they'd be a number three receiver right now. And then I know he got Kelsey, but no true number one running back for real. And look what the numbers he put up. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes for me.
All right,
and
Craig.
then they got number one
Oh,
seed.
go ahead.
Yeah, then they got number one seed.
Craig, who's your MVP?
Mahomes. I pretty much agree with what Mo said. Like the fact that he doesn't have a true number one wide receiver. Juju, I guess, is the closest one, but I mean, he's a number two at best. And they have Kelsey, who's one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Yeah, gotta start saying that.
But the lack of the running game, I mean, I've seen what I know he's older and he was aging, but I saw what Brady did or didn't do with the lack of a running game, and he had better talented wide receivers around him, and they still weren't able to do too much. But then Patrick Mahomes, I know he's younger and he's whatever, but like the talent around him is just not the same. I could see Patrick Mahomes with that talent that those receivers in Tampa, what numbers he would have put up. But just the numbers that he was able to put up with this group is just crazy to me. And I thought they were going to take a back seat to the Chargers, and his numbers wouldn't be. He has 41 touchdowns. His numbers wouldn't be that high. But man, no, I can't write Patrick Mahomes off anymore.
Nah. Corey, MVP?
Patrick Mahomes, yeah. How he was able to produce with less talent around him is just not something you typically see from a quarterback. I think what he's doing is special, and hands down, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with, in the words of my man Shannon Sharp, I'm gonna go with my homeboy. Like his stats are crazy, and I'm just gonna stop doubting every year. Oh, how good are the Chiefs gonna be? We'll get to how good he is later in one of our last questions, but I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. But I mean, without his number one receiver, he just threw an extra 411 yards. He was 67% completion percentage. He threw for 5,250 yards. His 8.1 average is like second in the league. His quarterback rating is first. His QBR is second in the league. And he leads the league with 41 touchdowns. So he threw for 411 more yards and threw for 4 more touchdowns without Tyreek Hill, who is an all-pro receiver and was phenomenal this year. That is insane. He got better. So, see why they traded him. All right. See why they traded. They're like, hey, we got this guy named Pat. All right. So, Craig, now we're going to talk about the NFC, AFC championship games. Craig, Bengals lost to the Chiefs. Give me your thoughts on the game.
The game was really good. I knew it was going to be a close game, a physical game. I think I had a 3-point game because all of them been 3 points. Seeing Patrick Mahomes go out there and limp around, I don't know what they gave him before the game, but I picked the Chiefs to win because I just thought Patrick Mahomes was going to will the team to a victory, and they were able to do that. He just played like. I mean, people were comparing it to like the flu game with Michael Jordan or Willis Reed or something like that. And I could say, it's understandable. I mean, that's, you're looking at some of the greatest like games when you're injured or hurt or sick or something like that. So, or Kurt Schilling with the bloody sock and all that. So, it is what it is. I'm not mad at the comparisons or anything like that. So it was a heroic type of performance. Other than the fumble when the ball just basically slipped out of his hand, like he pretty much played a really efficient, great game. The Bengals just had too many penalties. Some of them I thought were iffy. Some of them shouldn't have been called. Like then there was one where it was defensive holding
Yeah, that
on
joint was crazy.
on the
The
defensive
sequence,
lineman.
the sequence
Which is
broke
just
down to that is insane. I was listening to Mike
it never gets
Florio
called.
and Peter King was actually talking to Dan Blandino, and they actually broke it down. It's like a 20-minute conversation. I listened to that today. It doesn't even start the defensive holding. It starts at 2nd and 9 when they let the clock running when it was supposed to be a first down. And then Peter King's wondering how they did get caught by New York. And then they kept the play going, and then next thing you know, it's a defensive holding. And they're like, well, what's going on? Like it's crazy. But it's pretty technical stuff that was going on. So they kind of missed like a couple things to lead up to that, which is crazy. That's what everybody's saying. Go ahead. My bad.
The lack of a running game. Like I knew the Chiefs weren't going to be able to run the ball, but I figured the Bengals would be able to move the ball down the field. They couldn't move the ball. I don't know how many yards Mixon had, but it was like 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
12. He had 19.
Yeah, 19, 8 carries.
That's horrible. Frank Clark was out. He was wreaking havoc. Chris Jones wreaking havoc. Like they were really able to get after and take advantage of the lack of offensive line that the Bengals had or didn't have, I guess. Something that the Bills couldn't do, which I thought maybe they would have, but the Bengals or the Chiefs were all over them. So, and I kind of thought that how the Chiefs were going after the Bengals would do the same thing to Patrick Mahomes since he was on a messed up ankle, but they just really didn't seem like they wanted to try to get after him as much, or they couldn't get after him as much, or whatever the game plan was. I just thought it was kind of flawed a little bit because I just thought they should have just pressured Mahomes more, and they didn't do that. But I thought the first interception was a bad pass by Burrow. He was getting pressured, I believe, but it was just a bad pass. The second one to me was just good defense. I thought maybe he could have. Obviously you're throwing in a double coverage a little bit, but it was just really good defense. But obviously at the end of the game with the whole pushing the quarterback. Some people saying he sold it or he flopped or whatever it is. I just thought it was.
They're calling that 100% of the time.
I'm not saying they're not going to call it. Some people were just saying he flopped regardless of how, because they said it wasn't a hard push. Which it wasn't a hard push, but the quarterback is like 2 steps out of bounds.
Out of bounds. That's the thing.
I think he kind of got tripped up as well. So he pushed him and he fell. Plus he's on a bad angle. Plus he was running full speed or running fast. It's just, it just happens so fast.
You can't touch Patrick Mahomes when he's going out of bounds.
You can't touch him.
You can't.
I think any quarterback. You make
quarterback.
contact that far out of bounds.
But definitely not
super out
Patrick
of bounds.
Mahomes. You're getting that call every time.
It's unfortunate that the game had to end like that. I wanted to see overtime, especially I wanted to see the new rules of overtime. So unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to see that. But it was a great game. Just the refs sometimes have some questionable calls, which a lot of people were saying it was rigged or these games were rigged, or I don't think it was rigged because either way you're going to get 2 great quarterbacks, whether it's Joe Burrow going back to back or Patrick Mahomes going to another Super Bowl. So
there's no conspiracy.
I don't know.
They act like this is going to be Joe's last championship. He'll be back. He's a good quarterback.
I can understand if it was me playing quarterback and you rigged it for me to go to Super Bowl. It's rigged, but whatever. But I'm no Patrick Mahomes. I know Joe Burrow.
Did you see those passes Joe Burrow's throwing? I don't think it was rigged at all. And that's kind of taking discredit in Kansas City. Why would you do that?
It was a great game. I just think the best team won. So that's up to the Chiefs.
What's your thoughts? I can't believe people saying it was rigged. That's That's
So,
crazy.
Typing the whole like a lot of the stuff I was
That's
saying.
crazy, yo.
Like, what is going on? Who's
Come on, man. That's you're just gonna invalidate the Chiefs like that. All right, Corey, what are your thoughts on the AFC Championship game?
I was just, especially after the NFC Championship game being such a dud, I was excited for a good game. I had no rooting interest in the game, so it was fun to watch. The notion that the NFL wanted Patrick Mahomes in, so they set it up for it. That's absurd. Joe Burrow is just as marketable as Patrick Mahomes, so right there goes your argument. I think the Bengals got a little cocky. They were talking a lot of trash going in leading up to that game. I think they were a little overconfident. Kansas City came to play. They had a really good game plan defensively, and Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes, and it sucks that the game gets decided on a penalty like that, essentially, because the personal foul definitely got them into range, or ensured they were in range. But he was 2 steps out of bounds. I don't care who it is. It could have been.
Could have been Pachenko.
It could have been, yeah.
They were gonna call that.
Nathan Peterman running out of bounds. You're 2 steps out of bounds. That flag getting thrown. I don't think Mahomes was acting or selling it either. I think it's just a guy running full speed, getting knocked off balance at all. He's gonna fall. That's all that is. It's unfortunate that the officiating was so bad. Like it wasn't some grand conspiracy, in that like all of the bad calls didn't go Kansas City's way. Like Cincinnati was the benefit of a few themselves. I think CBS did do a good job, like with the replaying a third down. They did a good job in showing that the back official did try to blow the play dead. He was running up, motioning to stop the play, just nobody could hear him because Kansas City is deafeningly loud. So I think credit to CBS on putting that out there during the broadcast so that everyone could see it to kind of kill that conspiracy theory. And then the holding penalty the next play, just what do you want him to do? Eat the flag on a pretty egregious hold?
Yeah,
it's that they committed the penalty. It is what it is. I think that is. We now have both teams have won in that matchup. Both teams are going to be back. Mahomes and Burrow aren't going anywhere. Cincinnati's going to have to do some contracts coming up in the next few years, but that core is going to be there. And I think we're in for some fun matchups between those two guys for years to come, and I'm pretty excited for it myself.
Yeah, I love the game. You're right. There's no conspiracy theory with the refs. Why just can't they be human and have bad calls? Dean Blandano said that they were multiple times so the refs could not hear the whistle because of the crowd noise.
Yeah,
they said the crowd noise was crazy. And
yeah, what do you? I think it may be another reason to push for making NFL officials full-time employees. I know the officials themselves push back on that because a number of them have pretty lucrative side deals as side jobs as like lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't want to give up that kind of extra income on the side of being an NFL official. But
yeah,
I think this game, and being as high profile as it was, might be a good push to get the NFL to finally go in that direction.
Yeah, they talked about that too, Corey. The interesting thing is Peter King was like, he would see he had the opportunity to follow referees, and he said that one referee had a full-time job, was a teacher, had 3 daughters. He was a single dad, and he would come home at like 9:30 and watch like 3 hours of game film. And he was just like, it could be full-time, but like you said, a lot of people are lawyers, firemen, they got really lucrative jobs. So it's going to be a discussion in the NFL. Now, both of them said they don't think it makes a difference, but I think that's a conversation that needs to be had, It's definitely a conversation because people are just – they're asking questions because it's so blatant. Same with Philadelphia too. Like it was some things in that game. People are wondering why it doesn't go to like New York. Some people wondering like you have so many cameras in the stadium and on TV. The officials don't know what's going on. They're talking about the specific play where Kyle Shanahan, Devontae Smith is hurrying up for them to, call a play so it can't be challenged. And by the time, because the crowd is so loud, Philadelphia hiked it, and Kyle Shanahan didn't see the replay. You know what I'm saying? They said the replay wasn't shown, but that's neither here or there. But if that call goes to New York, we don't know if that's going to get challenged. But that's why coaches don't challenge plays, because they're thinking the call's going to New York. You know what I'm saying? So the league's going to have to do some discussions in the off season about it. But it's definitely being noticed. We're probably going to definitely talk about that down the road. But listen, I enjoyed the game. It was phenomenal, man. I can't wait to see these two, because I don't really think they're going anywhere. Everybody thought it was a Josh Allen, Mahomes, but Burrow was the only one that went to a Super Bowl and beat them in the playoffs at the championship game. But right now, Mahomes is setting himself apart. All right, Mo, what were your thoughts about the game?
Man. Great game. I think Chiefs was motivated, definitely. You look at it, it was a lot of talk. And I think Mahomes felt that pressure in a good way. I think Mahomes said, listen, this is my legacy on the line. Like, we done lost this team 3 times in a calendar year. Everybody talking about the Bengals is the new beast of the AFC. Like, nah, we still here. Like, I think Mahomes, and that throw he threw, I think would have put him back up. I think it was the last touchdown he threw to Montez Scantling.
That joint was crazy.
I was like,
that
are you
joint
serious?
was crazy, yo.
I was like, are you serious? Especially on the ankle, like how he threw it. I was like, are you serious?
That joint
like it was just
dark.
You could see he said, nah, I gotta win this. I need this. Like, I need this for my legacy. Like everyone else said, you can't hit him. Like any quarter, I think, I ain't gonna say any quarterback, but I think at least 95% of the quarterbacks in the league would have got that call, especially in the playoffs. I think Lamar would have got that call. I think Josh Allen would have got that call. I think any quarterback almost would have got that call, especially in the playoffs. You can't do that. But I do think this sets up intrigue for later on. I think this sets up maybe one of the greatest rivalries we might see ever, like quarterback rivalries. Because especially if they can get everybody signed, I think this might be one of the greatest quarterback rivalries we might see of all time. I know it's gonna be hard because egos get in the way, and a lot of people say, I want my money now, and I want to go out because I think I said this last week. I truly believe all 3 of the Bengals' top receivers are number 1 receivers. I think Boyd can go out there and be a number 1. I think Higgins can go out there and be a number 1. So it's interesting to see will they take pay cuts to stay together.
Okay, Mo, start off with you. That's the next topic. Do you think because of that are they gonna make it back? Because we've seen that in the past.
I don't know. They're gonna be relevant, but it's tough for me to see how much of a rope they have, because we've seen this where people get success, they see they can't get over the hump. Now it's like, do I go chase the money for the rest of my career? If I can go chase the biggest contract, let me go chase it. Like, I think the biggest question is going to be them continuing to build the offensive line and staying healthy. And will all 3 receivers stay together? Or will they say, you know what? We made a good run at this. Let me go chase my money before I end my career. I know they're going to keep Chase. Of course, Chase wants to stay there. But now, I don't think they're going to be able to keep all 3 unless they take a pay cut. Unless all 3 say, you know what, I'll take a pay cut. I'll take less money than what I would get on the open market to stay here to see if we can chase a Super Bowl. I don't know if they're gonna keep all three long term.
Craig, what do you think? Do you think with these big contracts coming, you think they can make it back?
I think they can make it back. It's just going to be if they're willing to structure their contracts to the point where it meets it's like a team friendly type of deal where you can sign Boyd, you can sign Higgins, you can sign Mixon. Obviously, Burrow's going to come in like crazy. If it depends on what happens with Lamar and who else is coming up?
Jalen Hurts is coming up.
Jalen Hurts is coming up. Yeah, right. So what happens with these guys, man? It's going to be. I mean, it's going to set the bar for what Burrow's going to do, and then you got Chase coming up after that. So obviously, these are like the core guys on offense, and there's other pieces around them that also need to get signed. And if they can go out and maybe get some other players that want to be here, that wants to, that can make it fit, not only for like with how the team plays, but financially as well. It's just, I mean, if they can figure all that out, then yeah, I definitely think they can make it work, especially if they have this window open to where they're in contention every year and they have all these young pieces and they're competing against teams like the Chiefs and the Bills, and they can beat the Bills, and they could have beat the Chiefs this year. Like they could have went the back-to-back Super Bowls this year. And you're talking about the Bengals, a team that's been irrelevant for years. I mean, you got to go back to like the 80s. I mean, I guess they made the playoffs when they had the Red Rifle playing quarterback, but they never won a game. So you got to go back far to figure out the last time they were
Boomer Esiason, I think.
Yeah, when they went to Super Bowl.
And Chris Collinsworth was playing on the team. That's a long time ago, bro.
Right. So they have a lot of talent. Obviously, they have a lot of pieces that they need to figure out. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think Boyd and Higgins are coming up in 2024, so they're coming up soon, and they got it. Those are going to be the first two pieces, and see what happens. And after that, then Burrow, he's going to get signed regardless, and then Chase. So they got some work to do, man. But I mean, it's a good problem to have. But I mean, at the same time, it's going to be a headache to try to figure out, especially if these guys are willing to compromise a little bit. Corey,
do the Bengals keep everybody?
I mean, they don't keep everybody, but they'll be back. Joe Burrow is good enough that he alone keeps them in contention. I think Jamar Chase will get locked up. He's not going anywhere. But I think you have a situation like, the Manning era Colts that won so many games. You had Wayne, you had Harrison, and then you had some other pieces that would sometimes rotate, like Brandon Stokely came in and out, Marcus Pollard came in and out, Austin Collie came in after Stokely, stuff like that. Higgins and Chase aren't going anywhere. I think Boyd is gone once his deal's up, just because they're not going to be able to pay him what he's worth, and somebody else will pay him to come in and be their number 2 wide receiver. But as long as you keep those two, you keep the offensive line solid. And I said the key is just going to be, can the front office hit on draft picks? Because once you start locking up your big time players, draft picks become so important. And I think the NFL is going to find ways to keep making money, to keep growing the salary cap. So that'll help as well. But they've got one more run with this loaded squad, and then there's going to be a little bit of attrition that just happens with success.
Yep. Yeah. Piggyback off everybody. Here's the thing, right? I think they are going to be okay because of Joe Burrow. We saw it happen with the Chiefs. They're probably going to lock up like the Chiefs did with Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. Remember, they first got paid. But then Patrick Mahomes also, his deal doesn't kick in. And then he signed it for $45 million, which the cap just went up. So it's a team-friendly deal. He's getting paid $45 million for 10 years. 10 years from now, he'll probably be the 12th paid, but with the most Super Bowls. And then how you can get mad by still getting paid $45 million a year? It's not like it. I mean, oh, we'll only get 45 million. Like that's a pretty good substantial amount. I think it'll be a substantial amount 10 years from now. I don't think that's gonna change, but I think they're gonna lock in Higgins, Chase, and Burrow. The offensive line is probably gonna suffer, because remember Patrick Mahomes, they'll probably start rebuilding the offensive line when Joe Burrow is probably into his deal. Like, okay, we need to really rebuild it. But right now, you can go with that makeshift line and those players. But if I was them, I would try to lock in Burrow and Higgins, or at least now, or Chase now, because even if they let Higgins go, they gotta keep Chase. But I think they're going to keep all three. And then I think that, like, they'll probably cut Boyd. They'll probably cut Joe Mixon because they got some J.P. Ryan. Unfortunately, not to discredit anybody, but it's running backs, or you can find a good running back in a draft. But also, if they, cut Mixon, somebody will like Mixon. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting. Corey, your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes? How was his performance on the high ankle sprain?
Fantastic. I mean, I don't really know. I don't think you can say enough about how he performed with that injury. And I think you also throw in the fact that Travis Kelce got injured, was it Friday in practice?
Yep, it was bad.
And still gutted it out and was on the field there for them Sunday.
Wasn't he missing his receivers too? Wasn't Miko Hardman hurt?
Hardman got hurt.
Tony got hurt.
Yeah, Tony got hurt during the game. And
didn't Juju get hurt too?
Got hurt.
I think so. I don't remember seeing him out there late. So, MVS stepped up big time when they needed him to. And I think Mahomes, all season and for the last couple of seasons, I think there's been a lot of talk and, tears about who's the best quarterback. I think Mahomes kind of showed why he is the best quarterback. It's no knock against Joe Burrow, no knock against Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. It's just Mahomes is that guy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's what he did this whole season, what he did in that game, throwing the team on his back, with a bad right ankle in a play that honestly, still looking at the replay of when he got hurt, it seemed a little dirty.
Yeah,
with the defensive player dropped straight down onto his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive, and I think it cements Mahomes as the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I'm excited to see him in another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think I know people have been talking about, Craig said earlier, the flu game, and I don't look at it as that. I just look at it's one of these things that great players have that are able to finish and are mentally tougher than everybody else. And he just proved that again. Like, I proved that on the high ankle sprain, which is there is no, he's not even going to be 100% for the Super Bowl. I don't think Jalen Hurts is either, but that's, I just don't. I don't think he was 100% in the championship game. People aren't talking about that though, but I don't think Jalen Hurts is 100%, and I don't think Patrick Mahomes is 100%. Because they say it takes 6 weeks for high ankle sprain. That's what everybody says. They say the pain. Now it could be different grades, but he was limping out there, so I don't know. But I think as far as an athlete to push way past the mental barriers of a regular human being is just phenomenal. I mean, in the first 5 years of Patrick Mahomes, he has gone to an AFC championship game, lost to Tom Brady. He wins the AFC championship game as one of the greatest playoff runs we've ever seen by coming back against everybody, including winning the Super Bowl when they were down 10 points. Then the next year, he goes back to the Super Bowl and loses to Tom Brady. And the Bucks players were asking, how was he getting those passes off? Because we don't know. His offensive line is wrecked, and he's still passing the ball. I don't know how he's doing it. Then he goes back to the AFC Championship game again and loses to Joe Burrow. 5th year, he goes back to the AFC Championship game, and he's about to win his 2nd MVP. And he's going back to the Super Bowl, and he could win. So I mean that's. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If he retired, right? I mean, he's 5 years in. He's definitely top 10 of the greatest quarterbacks already. Because what we're seeing him do is insane. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, if he plays another 15 years, I don't know what records he's gonna hold, man. I don't know if we've ever seen anybody, I don't know, like this, man. Mo, what do you think about Patrick Mahomes' performance on high ankle sprain?
Greatness. I think he saw the writing on the wall. I honestly think the trash talking. I think you said it, James. I think you said it on chat. He was like, Bengals talking too much. I'm like, they talking entirely too much.
A lot.
I'm like, Mahomes sees the legacy. He sees they won a Super Bowl. They win again. They went, and then they got dominated by Tampa. And ever since then, they've been doing, but what people don't realize is Chiefs have been, they added to what the problem was. They added to the offensive line. They brought in a center who's played since his rookie years, played at an all-pro, Pro Bowl level.
Creed Humphrey.
They brought in other offensive linemen. They brought in, and they bring in people who just fit what they do. They brought in people who just, I'm going to say this. It's going to be funny how I'm going to say this. In this comparison to the Bengals. The Chiefs offense resembled what the Bengals defense is. They brought in a lot of castaways, a lot of people that people ain't want, that people thought are damaged goods, but they fit what they do. And so Mahomes brings out the best of them. So I think this really was a legacy type of win for him, a legacy game for him to say, I'm here. I'm still the best. Y'all question me. Y'all said, oh, here come Burrow, here come Cincinnati. No, I'm still here. So I applaud him for the effort. I knew he was going to play. But like I said, that last throw to fat ass Scantling, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this dude is just totally legit. Like, and when I say legit, I don't mean legit overall. I mean legit all time. Like, I mean, like right now, we got to start. If he wins another Super Bowl, we got to start talking about this dude is a top 10, 5 to 10 quarterback of all time. If he wins another one. Like, we got to kind of start putting him in the conversation of top 10 all time. If
people already started doing that.
Like, it's fair to say, because if you look at it, if we really talk about those who have won multiple Super Bowls, let's just say if he won the Super Bowl, let's say he wins. If we talk about quarterbacks who won multiple Super Bowls, if we name every quarterback right now that will win multiple Super Bowls, all of them had way more time than he had.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. If we talk about Montana, Montana,
John Elway, Montana.
We talk about Elway. We talk about
even Tom Brady. Tom Brady went 10 years without winning.
We talk about what Manning got two. We talk about Manning. We talk about even if we talk about Eli. I mean, most of them have had more talent than what Mahomes has had on a regular basis, outside of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. I get it. Everybody would say that, but I'm talking about overall talent. If you talk about O-line, backfield, everything, a lot of those quarterbacks who have won multiple Super Bowls has had more time than he's had.
All right, Craig, what do you think about Patrick Mahomes, man? This is high ankle sprain.
As far as the game goes, I thought it was a great performance. Outside of that fumble that he lost out of his hand, I thought he played a phenomenal game. With the things he was able to do on basically one leg. Some of the throws he was able to make, especially at the end when he was able to scramble and run for the first down and put his team in the position to basically just win the game. I just thought it was a I don't want to say heroic, but I mean it was a heroic type of performance. I mean he put the team on his back. He lost a lot of receivers, pretty much all of receivers, except for maybe Valdez Scantling, and I think Sky Moore was out there. Who was on? I mean, he had a big run back to set up that game in the field goal. But I mean, like outside of Kelsey, who was also hurt, I mean, pretty much the whole team was just hurt. So
yeah, that is crazy.
he played. Yeah, he played like the MVP that I think that he is, and he put the team on his back, led his team to a victory. They struggled again in the fourth quarter like they did last year against the Bengals, but they were able to pull it out late. And it's just another thing. Like Mo said, like this is for his legacy. Like I think this is a legacy defining type of moment for him because how like Mo said again, like the team just lost last year 3 times in the calendar year to the Bengals. So you don't want to lose to them again for the 4th time. And now, not me, but I mean, there's going to be a bunch of critics out there and a bunch of people saying this is his kryptonite or this is like the 49ers and the Packers or something like that. He's only been to one Super Bowl, or he's only won 1 Super Bowl and all this stuff. And he's been to 5 AFC Championship games, but he can't beat Burrow. Like Burrow is his kryptonite. So fortunately for him, he was able to get that monkey off his back. He in the biggest game of the season. So man, it was phenomenal to watch him go out there and just work his magic and come up with the win. So
yeah, man, it's crazy. So I'm gonna talk about the 49ers and Eagles game. I'm gonna be quick on this one because it was kind of irritating because of the quarterback injury, but I thought it was a good game. I believe I picked the Eagles to win. I just think I just think at the end of the day, Brock Purdy wouldn't be able to show up, but I would have liked to see him finish the game healthy. And then Josh Johnson comes in and gets hurt. It's just like, come on, man. Like these quarterbacks get hurt, and then Brock Purdy gets hurt off Hassan Reddick, and Hassan Reddick hits him here because they have they have a tight end blocking Hassan Reddick. That's crazy. He gets to the quarterback, boom, Brock Purdy's out. Can't even throw the ball. Some people are like, he should have ran Wildcat. I was like, I don't even know what the team does. But, we're going to talk about what QB problems they're going to end up having. But, once that kind of happened, I mean, the game was kind of, you could say the 49ers were deflated. And so was I. And I wasn't even playing for the 49ers. And I'm not even a 49ers fan, but I was like, damn, man. So that was my thoughts. Mo, what were your thoughts on the Eagles and 49ers game?
It was tough. She said Rain go like that. It was tough. Eagles pass rushers took over. They made adjustments in the run game. I think that fumble. After that fumble before the half, and then Philly scored, I said, "Yeah, there you go." I said, "It's over." I said, "Yeah, there you go." I said, "You can't do that." I understand it's the backup. I don't care if it's the 3rd string, 4th string. You can't fumble like that with a shotgun snap straight in your hands and you fumble like this. That just can't happen. And eventually, as a defense, when you're facing a crazy talented offense like that, and then everything just keeps going wrong, you can't hold up like that. Like you can't expect your defense to keep holding up against a tough team, and you're not giving them nothing offensively. I understand if you're driving, okay, you get a field goal here, field goal there, something happened there, but you're giving them nothing. Eventually, you're gonna crumble. And so I hate to see, I wanted to see San Fran win, but shout out to Philly. But oh man, they run game gets it going, and I think Jalen brings a quiet calm to that team. You know what I'm saying? I think Jalen brings a swag to that team that where, how can I put this? I'm trying to think when the last time we seen a team this dominant, but a quarterback who's efficient, but doesn't really put up high numbers, but you can see his energy just makes that team better. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a quarterback that just makes a team that much better, but his stats are not crazy. Like his stats are not like, oh my God, mind blowing, like MVP type worthy, but he just brings the energy to that team that makes them just play at a high level.
All right, Craig, what were your thoughts on the game?
Game was unfortunate. I had high hopes for this game. I thought it was going to be a close game. Both teams were coming in, especially the 49ers. They were coming in hot. They won the last 10 games of the regular season and 2 in the playoffs. Brock Purdy was playing phenomenal for the last overall pick. The team in general, they looked good the last 2 games in the playoffs. And it's unfortunate that Brock Purdy got hurt when he did. That, I mean, and then, Josh Johnson comes in, who hasn't played all season. And, I mean, you kind of expect him not to really do too much. And he didn't really. They did tie the game up with Christian McCaffrey. And then Eagles go down and score. And then, like Mo said, the turnover right before the half. I mean, at least a 7 right there. At best, they could have just maybe stopped them or forced another turnover, but they were able to go in and get another touchdown right before the half and go up 21-7. And then Johnson gets hurt again. Once Brock Purdy came back in the game and he couldn't throw the ball, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't be down 2 or 3 scores and try to make it up running the ball the whole time, running sweeps, running Christian McCaffrey. And you're just not able to put up any type of point. Like you can't move the ball. And the defense knows you're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, all they do is stack the box and then you're pretty much done. They're playing for the run. And I don't know what happened to Elijah Mitchell. I don't know if he didn't even have a carry in that game. I forgot he was even there. The game that he had before, and then followed up by, I don't know what happened. I don't know. So they just tried whatever they could think of, whatever they could do. But it's just, I mean, when you don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball, it's just not going to be enough. I thought early on with the whole Devontae Smith thing, like, I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, if you're going to waste a timeout or burn a timeout, even if you don't get the challenge call right, I think you do it in the first half. To me, it's more safe to do it in the first half than taking a chance maybe in the second half. But I mean, they could have called a timeout. And then maybe got an opportunity to look at it, because Devontae, he's getting off the field. He gets up and he runs back over, and then they run the play. But if you see to me, it's like a telltale sign. If you see a guy gets up really fast and goes try to sprint and get the ball hiked, maybe he's unsure that he caught the ball, or maybe he's unsure this happened. And unfortunately for the Niners, they didn't get a chance. I'm not saying that would have turned the game around, but it definitely could have helped somewhat early in that game. Who knows? But and then Jalen Hurts, he hasn't played well at all in the playoffs, but he really hasn't had to. He hasn't had to do too much. So I kind of want to see him face some adversity. He hasn't faced any adversity so far in these playoffs with the Giants and now the 49ers, which is unfortunate, but I'm hoping he'll get some type of adversity against the Chiefs. I would hope so, and hopefully he'll have to show up and put up some good numbers or some decent stats, because it's just not. I mean, I haven't been impressed so far, but like I said, he hasn't had to really do too much. But so we'll see what happens in the next round. But for a team that was on a high like the 49ers to just get blown out like that because their quarterback issues, it's just an unfortunate circumstance. So, it's what it is.
Corey, what are your thoughts on the game?
It's I'm afraid it's unfortunate that isn't because championship weekend is historically the most fun weekend for the NFL season because you have the season boiling down to what should be two really good football games. And it was disappointing this year because the 49ers seem cursed at quarterback right now. I mean, when you're in a situation where you finish the game with a running back playing quarterback in the championship weekend, it sucks. The Phillies defense is legit. Their pass rush is legit. I maybe question San Francisco trying to block Phillies pass rushers with tight ends multiple times because that's what got both of their quarterbacks hurt. But I think it's also a sign that the Purdy run may have ended anyways. So I think the NFL should consider allowing teams to essentially have an emergency quarterback that they can activate on game day. So we don't run into this situation where because of roster numbers, you can't have a third quarterback active, but then something happens and you're stuck with a skill position player running the offense. I do hope that the NFL learns from that experience and at least considers we get it. The quarterback position is the most important in professional sports, arguably. So let teams have their emergency quarterback dressed, not active, but then have them come in, have something happen where the guy can't play next week or I don't know what you do, but just allow that to be a possibility so that, I would rather have seen Nate Sudfeld or whoever they would have trotted out as their third string quarterback under center to at least give them a shot. But it's unfortunate. It's horrendous luck. It kind of leaves the 49ers potentially in a tough spot down the line, but that's for a future conversation. It just sucks. Yeah, I was looking forward to the game. I thought it would be a really fun matchup, a really good matchup with two good defenses. Credit to the Niners defense for holding out as long as it could. But it's just, especially once Johnson was down, it was over. But once Purdy went down, that was it for the ball game.
Yeah, I want to start off with you. Talk about because you touched on it a little bit. With the quarterback problems in San Francisco, where do you think they're headed next year?
I mean, I think it ends the conversation of moving Trey Lance. I think if Brock Purdy finished the season healthy, if he played well in that championship game, I think you at least have the conversation internally in San Francisco of trading Trey Lance. Because if you're, say, I don't know if Carolina is far enough back, but if you're a team that needs a quarterback and you're not really willing to move all the way up to get one of the top four in this class, if you could send, say, a second round pick for a guy in Trey Lance who is really young, has a ton of talent, has been in an NFL system for a couple of years now, but just hasn't really shown anything. I think it would work out kind of like the Josh Rosen trade for Arizona. Like the two would be the asking price. And I think that's something that could benefit San Francisco. But now with Purdy, I've still seen that whether or not he gets a repair or a reconstruction with Tommy John surgery, it's a 6-month window either way. I thought Tommy John surgery potentially kept guys out a little longer than that.
Yeah, so it's a difference. So he's seeking the surgery he's supposed to get is just to repair the torn UCL. That's the 6 months. If he was required Tommy John, that's 9 to 12.
Okay, that's what I thought. But I had seen some reports that it was 6 months either way. I was like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, that makes sense.
9 to 12, buddy.
So I think Shanahan said Garoppolo's gone. That makes sense. Jimmy's not going to want to sign up for that.
He's out.
Purdy is in a tough spot because he has a legitimate chance to start next season. But if you get the repair to the reconstruction and it doesn't go well, and then you end up needing Tommy John surgery again anyways, you just waste a year kind of. So it's I said the 49ers just kind of seem cursed at quarterback. But you have to have both back, and then you've probably got to try to find at least a decent veteran that is potentially going to be be there as a number 3 quarterback that you could trust to potentially have to throw in, because you've gotten to that point for a couple of years in a row now, which is kind of crazy for a team that has such a really good offensive line.
Yeah, really good offensive line. Craig, what do you think about the quarterbacks? Like, what do you think the 49ers do about the quarterback situation?
I would assume right now they keep Trey Lance. There's no way you can trade him now after the Brock Purdy injury, which is once again unfortunate. I think they'll go out and sign maybe like a veteran, because they have a team right now that's built to win right now in a NFC where they're probably still the second or third best team in the NFC. So if Trey Lance is not going to work out or whatever it is, or he struggles, then I think you can go to a veteran quarterback. Because I mean, I don't. If unless Brock Purdy's obviously ready to go. If Brock Purdy's ready to go, then and he looks like the Brock Purdy that we've seen this season, then I think you have a decision to make. I don't know if you want to trade Trey Lance at that point, or try to keep him and keep both quarterbacks, and you have a quarterback controversy or quarterback competition or whatever the case may be with both of those guys. But if Brock Purdy doesn't look like Brock Purdy and he's not ready to go, then I mean, you could possibly sign a veteran quarterback. It don't have to be like Aaron Rodgers or anything like that. It can just be like Corey said, Nate Sudfeld or somebody like that, or maybe they'll stick with Josh Johnson and run it back with him, and he'll be the backup quarterback. But I just think there has to be somebody there, because you don't know what you're going to get from Trey Lance. We haven't seen enough from Trey Lance at all to even know what he's capable of at this point. But I mean, you would have to. You kind of have to roll it. I mean, you traded up for him, so I mean, you have to kind of bring him back next year and see what you have with him. It at least try to see what you have with him, so that way you can make a determination of, okay, do we go with Brock Purdy? He's healthy now. Do we trade? We got all this great tape and all this. Trey Lance has played great. Do we keep running with him, or do we go back to Purdy, who looks like he's going to be next year's starter, or whatever the case may be? So it's unfortunate that this team has to deal with this, because they have a team, like I said, they have a team that's ready to win right now. And I think they could. I mean, who knows if the team was healthy and they played up to their potential, like they've been playing the last 12 games. Who knows? Maybe they could have beat Philly if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt. Because I mean, their defenses are going to be the best, or one of the best in the NFL, and then they have great skill position players, and I mean, you just have a team, right? Offensive line's amazing. So I don't know, man. It's tough to have all the pieces in place, but your quarterback, the main thing that you need to really win, the quarterback is just not there right now. So I'm hoping that they can figure it out, because I like to see the 49ers competing again next year. But it's tough, man.
Yeah, Mo, what do you think the 49ers QB situation?
It's tough. It's really tough. I think I saw something where on ESPN, I read it again. Shanahan said again, but we seen this last year. They pretty much agreed that Garoppolo won't be back. But we've seen the writing on this wall before. So,
he was under contract though, Mo. He's free agent.
but now, I think Shanahan says, I got to read it again, but I think Shanahan said something along the lines of, they said something about Garoppolo. He said, nah, he won't be back.
It's
so
best for both.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Honestly, I've talked to people about this, and they said something along the lines of, let Purdy play, and if it got bad, you would then go with you would then go with Trey Lance, because the reality is, no matter how bad the game was, if you go with Trey Lance, the pressure's still there. You're a number 2 pick. You got a team intact that, I mean, I don't know their free agents or whatever. Let's see what they lose or gain. But you got a solid team intact that just went to the NFC Championship game. And so it's like, what do you do now? Like, what do you do? Yes, they lost their D coordinator. I know some people might take value in that. But what do you do? So I honestly think, looking outside in, I think Brock Purdy will be either a starter or they might go with a vet. I don't know if Brock Purdy might be healthy for week 1. But if he's healthy week 1, I think Brock Purdy starts. I think depending on what happens, they might go to Trey Lance like middle of the year.
Damn, man, that's not good.
I mean, it's not, but it's the reality, because Brock Purdy might be the healthiest in that beginning, but I can see a stretch where if Brock Purdy struggles, they would go to Trey Lance if he's healthy. If he gets back healthy, they'll say, "Oh, let's turn it back over to Trey Lance."
That's tough, man, because I think they're in a pickle. Now, to be honest, if Tom Brady was coming back next year and they say we need a 1-year rental because everybody's getting older. Trent Williams is getting older. Kelsey, McCaffrey's 27. That's old in running back years. George Kittle is getting older. You know what I'm saying? Like, to sustain this team, there's only a certain amount of time in the NFL you have. You know, same with the NBA. It's like, oh, we got a 5-year window. Let's try to maximize it. I don't know. Now Tom Brady's retired. You're going to have to kind of go with Trey Lance. He's going to be there for OTAs. It's going to be hard for a guy to be coming off surgery and be ready training camp when Trey Lance has done everything in the offseason to be the starter. That's going to be kind of hard. So, I mean, this is – and then if you get a veteran on a year rental, I mean, that's hard too, right? Because you got a team that's ready to win now. Jimmy G's gone. They're going to have to rely on – they're in no other situation but to go in the season with Trey Lance as a starter. I mean, they can wait for Purdy, but if Trey Lance is healthy and is there for all of OTAs – and then if Purdy has some type of setback, but, you know, they said he won't. They said it's 6 months with surgery, and he hasn't even opted for surgery yet. It's getting a time where he's going to have to – I think he's looking for a second opinion, but if he doesn't wait till March, he's definitely not starting. Because then he's coming back in training camp, you know, and – I think he's kind of disappointed because he's like, damn it, if he didn't get hurt, he's probably the starter next year. They probably like, all right, Brock Purdy's here, Trey Lance, you want to go somewhere. But now that he's hurt and Trey Lance is going to be healthy through OTAs, they're probably like, we're not going to trade him now. Why would we trade Trey Lance? We don't even know what we have. We might as well give him an opportunity. We know we have him Brock Purdy. We've seen it, but we haven't seen Trey Lance over a 7 game. So I think they're going to go right with Trey Lance. That's what I think. All right. Last question. I'm going to start off with this because I got to eat crow again. Thoughts on Jalen Hurts growing into a superstar quarterback? I'm not going to lie. This was – I have to take an account of – perseverance and hard work of a player, it overcomes a lot when you work hard and you're dedicated and you consistent and you're accountable and you're a leader. So like Jalen Hurts right now exploits all of that. And the way that he became a starting quarterback for Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl is a crazy path because he left Alabama because the starting spot got taken and started at Oklahoma. Then he gets under Lincoln Riley. Then he falls in the draft because people like me are like, how much is his arm strength? You know, can he run an NFL system? He gets drafted by Doug Peterson. People forget that. Doug Peterson drafted him and started over Carson Wentz, and people got pissed, and he got fired for that. He got fired for that. Y'all remember? They was like, "What? Why are you going with Jalen Hurts?" He was like, "Y'all don't see this guy's put in the work." No, nobody on the Eagles team said nothing. No players came out and said, "Why is it Carson?" Now we see, obviously, why Jalen Hurts is a better leader than Carson Wentz. We see it blatantly now, right? And then he comes out, they go to the playoffs, and I'm like, you know, he needs more weapons and he gets developed. And this year, not only did they add AJ Brown, but he's developed in his game. He developed his deep ball. He's putting in the work. So I just want to give him a shout out, man. And they're gonna have to pay him a lot of money. And I think that he's one of those quarterbacks that are gonna be. I think the Eagles hit on it. And then the way he runs, you know, I mean, that's probably going to eventually stop. But I don't know, you know, if he keeps taking care of his body. Now, listen, quarterbacks that take hits, you can kind of say this game kind of favors a running quarterback because all the rules that are around him. But you know, I just want to give a shout out. And he's going to be probably a $200 million quarterback because he's not a first round pick. He doesn't have that option. All right, Mo, thoughts on Jalen Hurts becoming the superstar? He is. Gotta give it to him.
Definitely superstar. Like I said earlier, just the way he galvanizes the team, just the way he brings them up, it looks like he raised their level to another level. Even though he doesn't, even if he has a mid-level game, he brings an energy to them with that offense. That's on another level right now. Shout out to him. I watched the game. I saw when he got benched against Georgia. And then he goes to Oklahoma. He got benched, goes to Oklahoma, and then stakes his name there, and then goes in the draft. He's low. People say we don't know about him. The Eagles get him. A lot of people said, okay, let's see how this will go. Now you got a squad that's just on another level, on a whole nother level. And you see the energy pick back up when he came back. You see he was gone he gone for a while. The energy was gone. Now he comes back, and here we go again. So I definitely salute him on the quarterback he's become. And I would say this point, though. I think I also, no respect to him, no respect to Jalen Hurts. I love him to death. But he also is a cornerstone for a point I think all of us have made before. You got to put talent around people. You can't just expect a quarterback to get drafted, throw him in there, and then say go win games with marginal talent. Like you look what they went out and got, and look at the fruits of the labor. Like you look at and I'll bring this home. We can go to the next person on this. We look at a kid like Justin Hurts. I mean, not Justin Hurts, my bad, Justin Fields. If the Bears don't do something quick, I don't think he physically lasts through his rookie contract. Because of the talent around him overall and how they have him running for his life. I don't think he lasts through his rookie contract if they don't do something quick. So both of them are examples of what you have to do. You got to do something. And Philly put a talent around him and a system around him that fits his talent, and look what he's done.
All right, Craig, what's your thoughts on Jalen Hurts, man?
I mean, I'm not going to say he's a superstar. I think he's really good, though. Superstar or like megastars is like reserved for like Patrick Mahomes or something like that, or Aaron Rodgers or something like that. But I think he's ascending to be a superstar. I think he
There we
definitely
go. I'll give you
get
that.
there. Once if he keeps going like he's been going, it's not even just about the passing touchdowns. He only has 22 passing touchdowns, but it's the rushing touchdowns as well, and what he's able to do with his legs. But I do agree that he needed the talent around him. Like he needed AJ Brown basically to help him along. He needed that defense. He has arguably the best offensive line. The coach finally decided to use Miles Sanders for the first time pretty much ever. So he has Dallas Goedert, who's a really good tight end, Devontae Smith, who's a really good wide receiver. But I just think the overall talent around him, like, I mean, if you had one of the best defenses they have 70 regular season sacks. I mean, and they have really good corners. Also, line is amazing. Like it's kind of. I'm not trying to knock Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying or anything like that, because it's kind of hard to fail when you have so much talent around you. That, I mean, excuse me, you're really put in a position to succeed, basically. So I think he is ascending. I think he'll get there. He was definitely in the conversation for MVP this year until he got hurt and missed a couple games. And the last couple games, obviously they haven't really needed him to do too much, and he hasn't really done too much, but he hasn't looked good for the most part in playing. So I want to, if he takes this next step and performs a lot better than he has the last two games in the Super Bowl, or pretty much going back to the second Giants game was the last time I think he's played exceptionally well. Like
he hasn't played well in a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, but he, like I said, he hasn't had to the last couple of games because the defense and everything like that has been phenomenal. But I want to see what he does in the Super Bowl, obviously. So it's like I said, I think he's gone. He's on his way. He just needs to put it together consistently. Another year, probably, of doing this again. I think he'll be there. Do you even know that Carson Wentz's two of his backups have been to the Super Bowl? He hasn't. Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts, and Nick Foles won it for him.
Vegas thing.
So it's
Vegas thing, Craig.
What it is, man. It's tough, man. It's tough for Carson Wentz out there, but has Jalen Hurts.
Tough. All right, Corey, what do you think about Jalen Hurts? That's a tough one.
That is a fun fact there. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think all the credit in the world to him. I will say, watching him at Alabama, he looked like a very limited passer. I didn't watch him a ton at Oklahoma, but he definitely put in the work, grew as a passer, has become a more all-around quarterback. Mm-hmm. I still think he's the type of guy that 10 years ago, he's not a quarterback in the NFL. I don't know that he's really given a shot to be a quarterback in the NFL. But I think his success, along with guys like Fields and Herbert and some of those, it shows the trend of the NFL, the pocket quarterback, the statues in the quarterback of the Bradys, the Mannings, the Breezes. It's done. That era is over. I think Craig has a really good point, though, that you can't just discredit the fact that he has an immense level of talent that they've accumulated around him. I think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith stack up pretty well against any other wide receiver duo in the NFL. Those two are that good, and I still think Devontae is underrated. I think he's probably the better all-around wide receiver. I know AJ Brown's bigger, more physical, and has had a few more of those big number games. But Devontae, I think, is a better route runner, has better hands, and has the ability to be more consistent given the opportunity. But yeah, I think if Hurts has been willing to put in the work, He's getting better, and you know that he's going to keep working to keep developing as a passer. And I think he may be in a perfect situation. It seems like him and Sirianni mesh really well together.
Yeah.
Sirianni's offense is creative, and
Sirianni be talking a lot of trash too.
I think Sirianni is just an absolute perfect fit
He'd
for
be
the
like-
city of Philadelphia.
He talking
Like-
trash. You know?
Yeah.
I
Like-
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coach
like it.
personality to city
Yeah.
they're coaching in, it is a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
But
Jalen's
and I-
quiet. He's loud. I like it.
Yeah, and kudos to Sirianni for backing off, giving up play calling duties when he felt he needed to. And I think that helped Hurts
Mhm.
some as well.
Mhm.
And I just think Hurts is in a really good position. He's going to keep putting in the work, and as long as they are able to keep pieces around, I think
Yeah.
Philadelphia is in position to be front runners in that division for years to come.
Yeah. 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 Before we end this, shout out to Nick Sirianni yelling to the Colts fan. This is for Frank Wright. While leaving, I was like, he is a savage. He
that
yelled.
was
I was like,
dumb,
come on,
but-
man. he's in the video camera like he talks. He's very animated. I kind of like it. You get that with young coaches. Sean McVay's like that too. So. But all right, guys.
Hey,
We're
hold on.
gonna
Hey,
end
Craig.
this live. We're gonna end
Hey,
this
Craig,
live.